On a sweltering July afternoon in 1921, the heat of summer, a little girl leans quietly on the fountain, waiting for the bottle to fill. The city around her moves on, but for a moment, time stands still. Paris, in 1890, the Avenue des Champs-Élysées hums with the rhythm of hooves and wooden wheels. Fiacres line the Grand Boulevard, awaiting passengers under the filtered light of gas lamps. Paris, in 1910, 2 men and 2 children ride proudly in a Bruhat automobile, a rare luxury in its time, symbol of progress and class. The city, still horse-drawn in many corners, glimpses its future on wheels. 1871. In the aftermath of a blood-soaked revolution, these stern faces are the deputies of Paris, leaders caught between order and uprising. Photographed by E. Appert, this rare image captures the political nerve center of the Paris Commune just before it was crushed in flames. Paris, circa in 1920. A bustling street market comes to life. Locals haggle over bread, fruit, and flowers. Each face tells a quiet story of post-war resilience, just another day in the beating heart of the city. In the final days of World War I, a young scout in Paris stands proudly before the lens, the very first member of the American Red Cross Boy Scout troop in France. His smile, full of spirit, cuts through the shadows of war. In a uniform still too big for his frame, he carried the hope of a generation, learning courage and service before they learned to shave. Paris, May 1st, 1906. As workers marched through the streets calling for better rights, mounted military police, the chasseurs à cheval, stood watch before the 5th arrondissement city hall. Shakos, gleaming under a spring sun, their silent presence mirrored the tensions of an era teetering between revolution and reform. Between 1895 and 1905, Paris fell quiet under a veil of snow. Captured by Paul Geniot, this wintry boulevard bustles gently, a horse-drawn fiacre at center stage, umbrellas bobbing through the soft white hush. Signs of the Belle Époque flicker through the mist, gas lamps glowing, and a theater poster whispering of La Pente Douce. On the Avenue des Champs-Élysées in Paris, 1890, fiacres line the Grand Boulevard, their carriages moving like silent sentinels under gaslit trees. Passengers in top hats and elegant dresses watch the world glide by as the city's spirit shifts toward modernity, horsepower replaced by horse-drawn rhythm. During the Grand Exposition Universelle of 1900, Paris didn't just look forward, it looked back. Here, behind the scenes of the View Paris exhibit, 3 figures dressed in centuries old-fashioned pause by a weighing scale, performing the rhythms of a past that shaped the present. Paris, caught in the quiet poetry of motion, a horse-drawn carriage pauses in a forgotten street framed by Atget's lens. This is not just a vehicle, but a trace of daily life captured before the modern world swept it away. From the series La Voiture à Paris, preserved at the Musée Carnavalet, 1911. Somewhere between 1880 and 1900, life flowed steadily along the Avenue de l'Opéra in Paris. Horse-drawn carriages and early horse trams passed through the elegant boulevard as Parisians went about their day. This photograph, printed using the albumen technique, captures the quiet rhythm of a city on the edge of modern change. At the crossroads of the 19th and 20th centuries, Paris moved with elegance and pride. In this rare photograph, a line of horseback riders advances in perfect formation, with a grand horse-drawn carriage in the distance. In the year 1902, this photograph captured a moment of cultural diplomacy in Paris. Yu Keng and his family are seen here alongside representatives of the Qing imperial court during their journey to the coronation of King Edward VII and Queen Alexandra. Around the year 1851, this sculpture of the Virgin and Child stood at Notre Dame in Paris. Carved with grace and devotion, it portrays a crowned figure holding a child, a timeless symbol of maternal love and divine presence. It is June the 5th, 1945. These young survivors, mostly from Poland, Hungary, Slovenia, and Ruthenia, had just been liberated by American troops. Unsure where to send them, the U.S. Army, together with Jewish relief organizations, arranged their transport to France, Switzerland, and England. Clothed in Hitler Youth uniforms due to a shortage of clothing, they were at first mistaken for Nazi youth until the words Buchenwald orphans were painted on the train. In France, they began a new chapter, receiving care, education, and eventually, new homes in Palestine, the United States, and beyond. This photograph shows the Eiffel Tower under construction on November the 23rd, 1888. Built for the Centennial Exposition of 1889, the tower was designed by engineer Gustave Eiffel to commemorate the French Revolution. At 984 feet tall, it was twice the height of the Great Pyramid of Giza, an architectural marvel of its time. Captured just 4 months before completion, the image emphasizes the tower's monumentality, dwarfing the distant buildings beneath its arches. A rare photograph of composer Richard Wagner, taken in Paris on May 25, 1861. Wagner was in France for the much-anticipated premiere of his opera Tannhäuser. This historic portrait captures the composer during one of the most challenging periods of his artistic journey. A glimpse into the Old Paris exhibit at the Exposition Universelle of 1900. Photographed by the Photo Club de Paris, this scene reveals a quaint shopfront adorned with a cannon and armor, echoes of a medieval past displayed in the heart of modern Paris. On the morning of April 8, 1921, 3 Parisian women stood at the Cour d'Oeuvre near Gare Saint-Lazare. They gazed upward, watching a rare celestial wonder, a solar eclipse. A quiet moment of awe captured amid the bustle of Paris. A fleeting shadow, remembered through a timeless photograph. Around the year 1892, French painter Gustave Caillebotte strolls through the Place du Carrousel in Paris. By his side walks his loyal dog, Bergère. This quiet moment was captured by his brother, Martial Caillebotte. A glimpse of art and life, frozen in time. Le Touquet Paris Plage, a quiet coastal retreat in northern France. This photograph was taken in the year 1929. The scene captures a moment of calm elegance, just before the tides of the new decade would shift the world. A glimpse into a time now nearly a century past. Johann Koch, future revolutionary, pictured in Paris. This black and white portrait was taken sometime between 1890 and 1899 by renowned photographer Jules David. In the autumn of 1905, Koch was chosen as leader of the National Guard. A life of resistance soon followed, ending in exile in the United States. A young couple strolls through Place Joachim du Bellay in Paris. They approach the historic Fontaine des Innocents on a calm September day. Captured in the autumn of 1982, this peaceful moment reflects the everyday rhythm of Parisian life. The fountain, once called the Fountain of the Nymphs, is the oldest in the city. This portrait of Jules Verne was taken by Étienne Carjat in 1884. It captures the famed author in Nantes, around the height of his literary fame. Verne's visionary tales of adventure and science made him one of the most translated authors in the world. Captured in 1901, this photo shows a quiet moment in Paris. Taken by Sigurd Kerman, it offers a glimpse of the city's charm at the dawn of the 20th century. A timeless frame from a world long past, yet still vividly alive in memory. This photograph was taken on the 9th of August, 1919, captured by Charles Lancio It is part of the Archives de Paris collection, a moment from post-war France, framed with quiet strength and direction. This photograph was taken on the 20th of August, 1919. Captured by Charles Lanciot, it reflects a calm, watchful moment on the road to Paris. It is part of the Archives de Paris collection, preserving post-war France through the lens of history. This early 20th century photograph captures the iconic Bleutefin windmill in Montmartre, Paris, around the year 1900. The scene shows children seated casually on a mound of earth beside the historic mill. The windmill, once used for sifting flour, stands as a symbol of Montmartre's rural past. The image evokes a quiet, timeless charm from a bygone Paris. Taken in 1932, this press photograph by the Mondial Photo Press Agency captures a lively moment from the Sports Toy Championships at the Esplanade des Invalides in Paris. Captured in 1932, this lively press photo shows a joyful 4 or 5-year-old boy riding a bicycle at a competition near the Hôtel des Invalides in Paris. Surrounded by fellow young competitors, his excitement shines through the moment. In the summer of 1913, Boy Scouts near Grenoble are seen on litter duty, carrying a bundle of hay. Captured by Agent's Roll, this quiet moment reflects the discipline and teamwork of early scouting in France. On July 4, 1919, during the Inter-Allied Games at Stade Pershing in Paris, a tense boxing match unfolds. Spectators crowd around, captivated by the energy and skill in the ring. A powerful moment in post-war athletic history. On December 7, 1924, cyclists Gustave Genet and Giulio Foresti were photographed together in Miramas, France, a rare portrait capturing two sports legends of the early 20th century. On December 7, 1924, André Morel, a pioneer of French motorcycling, poses confidently on his bike in Miramas. His smile captures the thrill of early motorsport history. On May 8, 1932, a basketball match draws a lively crowd at the ancient Arénas de Lutèce in Paris. Spectators gather around, turning the historic arena into a modern-day sports stage. On September 20, 1925, runners dash across the finish line in Paris's Bois de Vincennes. The crowd cheers with excitement as the race concludes. On May 12, 1928, two boys, one tall, one small, stand proudly on Boulevard Saint-Germain in Paris. They are honored with medals for their brave sea rescue. On February 9, 1921, tracked vehicles race up Mont Revard in Aix-les-Bains. The snowy mountain chariot contest, led by the Automobile Club de France, thrills the crowd. On July 27, 1913, Boy Scouts in Grenoble pause at a fountain, washing dishes and sipping fresh water. A quiet moment in the rhythm of camp life. On January 1, 1944, in a Paris studio, cameras roll as a dancer in stripes performs live, a rare glimpse into early French television. In 1914, Belgian refugees arrive in Paris during World War I. Open wagons carry families fleeing the front, seeking safety in the city. In 1914, Algerian soldiers wounded at Charleroi arrive in Paris. They are known as Turcos, brave fighters from North Africa, now recovering far from the front. In 1944, under the Arc de Triomphe, French soldiers fire at German snipers. The battle for Paris rages as liberation draws near. In 1944, a war photographer kisses a child in Paris. Joyful crowds celebrate freedom on Liberation Day. 1945, Paris streets bustle again. A homemade Velo taxi rolls by cellophane windshield, wooden body carrying hope after war. steam lorries for army transport in Paris during the First World War. Captured between circa 1914 and 1915, these vehicles played a vital role in moving troops and supplies across the city. 25th of May, 1918. Women of Queen Mary's Corps relax at Paris Plage during the Great War. On the 30th of May, 1918, A. Macmillan, a wounded New Zealand soldier, was photographed in France, his artificial hand a stark reminder of the brutal toll of war. His full identity remains uncertain, echoing the countless unnamed sacrifices of the First World War.